Hey Reflections! So today I wanted to talk about DMT entities, mushroom entities, and entity attachments. So I actually became interested in these things after my first DMT experience because I had never actually encountered any of these things until then. And the more I've gotten into shamanism and studying it and understanding it, the more I realize that there are forces that attach themselves to us to feed on fear and negative vibrations, and sometimes to cause not so good things to happen in your life. So I have this book right here, and it's actually a really good book to read. I think I recommended this before, but it talks about the different entities that you see in DMT space. And you can also see these things while taking mushrooms as well. DMT is not the only realm that you see these things in. The first entity that I had ever seen was actually an Archon type head, and the vibration that I was getting from it wasn't very high or loving. And then I saw an entity attachment, which I actually had at the time. This was about, say, a year and a half ago. And it was this octopus-like thing with just a giant, huge head and tentacles. So after seeing those two entities, I just became obsessed with the entities that are all around us. And when I was actually reading the Book of Solomon, a lot of these demons actually sounded like entity attachments. A lot of them seem to be mischievous and tricksters, and a lot of them would cause really bad things to happen. And I believe that a lot of the fear and anger and negativity that a lot of people are going through is because of these entity attachments, and they're just not very aware of it. Now, I've also had my fair share of good experiences with entities. Actually, yesterday, while I was sleeping after my map session, if you don't know the book Maps, the Co-Creative White Brotherhood, it's actually really vital to self-healing and using nature spirits in order to heal yourself and your higher self. So after I worked with them for about an hour, it's really funny because they usually take about 40 minutes to work with you and to heal you. And I went into like this sleep, and I actually felt a spirit wake me up, like, hey, wake up type thing. And it was just so shocking that exactly in the time that they were done, they woke me up. And I have been dealing with a few energies that have been kind of making me feel just a little bit off and unbalanced. And I recently had an experience with someone that I actually looked up to, and it's nobody from my other video, not at all, they're amazing people, but it was somebody else that really made me think, wow, you know, like, even the people talking about new age stuff and bliss and all this stuff, even they don't really have the proper knowledge of what these entities are, and they just lash out at you. But I also realized that that person was just a reflection of something that was very low vibrational in myself, you know? So I can't really blame the other person for their actions, but it really made me reflect on myself, and it made me just very aware of all of the energies around us. And after my last DMT experience, I had about 6 near-death experiences. Well, 3 before, then my DMT trip, then 3 after. And the last time it happened was actually in my home, and it was really just horrible. It was just something that could have just been the end of me. And after that happened, I was clearing the air, I was smudging my whole entire apartment, and as soon as I smudged the place where I almost died, I felt this just rush of negative energy just go right through me and past me, and then out the door, you know, as I was just clearing the space. So it's really interesting. This book actually talks about a lot of the entities that you will see, and I think that they covered a lot of it. They talk about the machine elves. I've seen the elves quite a few times, and a lot of these energies are beings that you see in hyperspace, but some of them actually are there because they are entity attachments. Like, I really feel that the octopus type thing that I saw, I was just aware of the entity that was attached to me. And the last time I was in DMT space, actually, I felt like the negative entities were just waiting there for me, almost just like really smart, and knowing that they were going to be there, they were going to scare me off, and I couldn't get to a higher level of existence and meet what I now know is Ra. I didn't know, but that was the solar sun deity that I met. But it was really up to me to just say, no, I'm not going to feel this vibration. I'm not going to be scared. And a lot of these entities are there to scare you into going to these higher vibrational frequencies and meeting these benevolent entities. So you might want to actually think about that before you go into DMT space. I highly suggest you just clean your space very well, smudge as much as possible. In a lot of ancient cultures, cleanliness is something that they constantly are very, very aware of, and hygiene, because that's what these entities kind of latch onto, is just a chaotic surrounding, and a person with chaotic thoughts. And they're very they kind of just like to feed off of that negativity and that fear and that just sorrow that you feel. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the different entities that you encounter. And he talks about the elves, gnomes, and insects. I've actually seen this insectoid type thing. It was actually right in front of my face, which was kind of weird. And I wasn't really scared of it, but it was very interesting. It kind of makes you wonder where the insects that are on the earth actually come from, and probably this insectoid extraterrestrial species. Who really knows? Goblins, fairies. He talks about beings, aliens, guides, helpers, reptiles, manatees. That's actually what I saw. Bees, spiders, cacti, stick figures. He talks about octopods, reptilians, robots, jellyfish, sci-fi extraterrestrials, humanoids, clowns. What else? Let's see. Hybrids, monsters of all kinds. Again, hybrids, half human, half animal. Mermaids, shape-shifting beings. Then he talks about just these semi-divine beings like Jesus, Buddha, Hindu gods, Egyptian, pre-Columbian deities. And actually I saw Egyptian and the Native American, I would like to call them like South American just gods. They had this very earthy feel to them. He talks about elf-like aliens, angelic beings. Anyway, reflections. I know that's a lot to process, and that's why I'm really into the paranormal and into all of this just really weird stuff, because it's getting weird, and the more you are in tune with nature, the more you are in tune with yourself, I feel the easier it is to just become a lot more sensitive to the energies and the spirits around you. Anyway, reflections, I hope you're having an awesome, awesome, awesome day. Bye, reflections.